I quit using my Instagram account 2 weeks ago, and in this video, I'm gonna share how it's going, 3 challenges I've encountered, and you'll likely encounter too if you try this, and some simple solutions you can use to overcome those challenges and truly break your bad social media habits. Let's start off right away with challenge number 1, watch out for replacements. One of the reasons I wanted to get off Instagram was to free up my time and put a stop to the scrolling and consuming of content that can happen without a goal or chosen purpose. The problem is that we tend to replace habits with other things, and if you're not intentional with what you're replacing the old habit with, you may just find yourself in a new habit that's not much better than the first one. And within the first couple of days off of Instagram, I found myself filling my Instagram time with YouTube. I had the habit of picking my phone up and checking Instagram when I had some downtime. Now I was picking up my phone and heading for the app that was the next most appealing for downtime. And for me, that was YouTube. I was pretty committed to freeing up that time though, so I made the decision to delete the YouTube app from my phone. If I had a reason I wanted to watch a YouTube video, I could do that on my laptop, and since that's not with me as much as my phone is, I figured that would solve the problem. Which it did. Until I found myself watching Reels on Facebook. Stopping that attempted new habit in its tracks wasn't as straightforward as deleting the app though, because I need that app for my job since I'm a social media manager. I can publish regular posts to Facebook through Facebook's Creator Studio on my computer, but I need the app on my phone to post Reels, so instead of deleting the app, I decided to create a time limit on my phone. To do this on an iPhone, you just go into your settings, then select Screen Time, then App Limits. I've set my social media accounts to a time limit of 30 minutes per day, so I have time to put up posts for work, and if I get close to 30 minutes, it will give me a warning that my time is almost up. I can always tell it to ignore the limit if I need to for some reason, but this way I can't get sucked into the black hole of scrolling and wasting time without realizing I've done it. Speaking of getting sucked into the black hole of scrolling, that brings me to my second challenge. Let go of FOMO. I've definitely realized that I'm okay without seeing other people's Instagram stories, which is interesting because that was one of the most fun parts of Instagram for me. If I let myself think about it, I know there are certain people whose stories I would enjoy watching if I did watch them, but there are really only a handful of those and I'm fine without them because I don't know what I'm missing, because I'm not constantly tempted by a row of red-rimmed circles at the top of the app basically announcing, "You're missing something if you don't tap here." If nothing else, I'd say this reinforces the idea that whether you want to completely get off of a social media platform or just limit the amount of time you spend consuming it, there's definitely good reason to go through your list of accounts that you follow and unfollow or mute as many of them as you can. To do this on Instagram, go to your profile and tap on Following. You'll then see a list of the accounts you follow. To completely unfollow an account, tap on the Following button next to their name. If you don't want to fully unfollow an account, but you don't want to be reminded every time they put up a post or a story, tap on the 3 dots next to that following button to see the option to mute their account. When you tap on mute, you have the option to mute their feed posts or their stories or both. This way you create more of a separation between yourself and an account, so you're not always being given reminders from Instagram that sparked that FOMO. And speaking of separation, let's talk about tip number 3. Separate yourself from your phone. Okay. Be honest with me in the comments. Do you charge your phone within arm's reach of your bed? Is it one of the last things you look at before you go to sleep? Do you use it for your alarm in the morning? There's research to suggest that you should cut off screen time at least 30 minutes before bedtime, otherwise it can delay and decrease sleep. Here's a quote from sleepfoundation.org. Tempting as it might be to use your computer or phone before bed, studies have shown these devices can interfere with sleep by suppressing the production of melatonin, a natural hormone released in the evening to help you feel tired and ready for sleep. This leads to neurophysiologic arousals that increase feelings of alertness when you should be winding down instead. Research also says that using your phone first thing in the morning can affect your brain's ability to prioritize tasks. Why would using your phone in the morning affect you this way? Here's a quote from an article on Forbes.com called "Why You Should Stop Checking Your Phone in the Morning." When you first wake up in the morning, your brain switches from delta waves, which occur in a deep sleep state, to theta waves, which occur during a sort of daydreamy state. The brain then moves to produce alpha waves when you're awake but are relaxed and not processing much information. By grabbing your phone first thing and immediately diving into the online world, you force your body to skip the important theta and alpha stages and go straight from the delta stage to being wide awake and alert, also known as the beta state. This is definitely not ideal because that theta state you're skipping is an ideal time to tap into your subconscious mind to visualize what you want and help your brain drive your actions forward toward achieving your vision. In skipping these states and checking your phone right after waking up, you're priming your brain for distraction. When I started charging my phone in my office instead of on my nightstand and challenged myself not to open my phone until after I completed certain tasks in the morning, I definitely noticed a difference in my ability to focus my mind, to plan and prioritize my day, and to be productive throughout the day. If you want to try separating yourself from your phone before bed and first thing in the morning, but you use your phone as an alarm to wake up in the morning, you'll have to find another way to wake yourself up. But I've seen simple alarm clocks at the dollar store, so it certainly doesn't need to be expensive. Alternatively, I hear you can still use your alarm with your phone in airplane mode, so you won't be bombarded with notifications and messages. I also suggest choosing a time in the morning and committing to not looking at your phone until then. You can also set this up in your screen time settings on an iPhone. Just go into Settings, Screen Time, then Downtime. Turn on Scheduled, and customize the days and times you like to set as downtime. If you get on your phone at that time, most apps will be grayed out, except for any you've chosen to be accessible. And you'll still be able to get phone calls during downtime. Okay, I have a fourth tip, a bonus tip. It's only been a couple of weeks without Instagram for me, and I've had to make quite a few tweaks along the way to get what I really want out of this break. So tip number 4 is keep tweaking. Because although I shared a little success story with you about charging my phone in another room at night, it's actually been months since I did that. I know it worked, but I'm out of the habit right now. And even though deleting the YouTube app helped me out a lot, I had to re-download it the other day for work, and I didn't delete it right after I used it. Guess what happened last night? I stayed up way too late watching YouTube on my phone in bed. So I'm making tweaks again. I deleted that YouTube app off my phone, and I'll be charging my phone in my office tonight. Listen, there are great things about phones and social media, but they're designed to work in ways that encourage us to spend more and more time using them. So it's all about balance, and the best way for you to stay aware of what you're doing and see what tweaks you want to make is to have a clear idea of what you want and don't want out of social media. If I hadn't laid out why I wanted to take this break from Instagram, I wouldn't have bothered to make the additional adjustments I've mentioned so far in this video, and I wouldn't get the results I was looking for when I started this. Now, I'm going to assume that you have an interest in being intentional about your social media consumption since you're here for this conversation. And I'm curious about where you stand with all of this. Have you made some changes to limit your social media time, or are you just thinking about it? Is there something you've changed that's worked well for you? And what challenges do you find with controlling the amount of time you spend on social? I'd love to hear your perspective on this if you'd like to share it in the comments. And if you haven't seen my original video about quitting Instagram, I'll link to it on this screen for you. All the best to you in your own journey, and I'll see you in the next video.